into it. We had an incredible season this past year for the Dallas Mavericks, right? Year two, or really the first full
Yes,
year
sir.
with Kyrie. And they made that run. They started as the away team, the 5 seed, and they went all the way through, going through the Clippers and the Thunder and the T-Wolves, all the way to Boston to fall a little short in the finals. Just tell us about what that experience was like and your thoughts on the season. We love to hear your perspective on this great season by the Mavericks.
It's rare, man, when a number five gets to the conference finals and then on to the NBA finals. So clearly, some things clicked for this Maverick team. They did a phenomenal job, I think, of meshing together. Nico Harris, Michael Finley, the front office, they pulled the trigger on a trade that I thought was perfect for them as a team. They got size, they got defense. They were able to get uh, develop Lively, if you would, as a player, the young stud from Duke, and they never look back, man. They have two of the best offensive players in the league, and you couple that with great defense, guys that can simply defend. Lively had 6, 7 blocks a couple of times this year in the Mavericks uniform, and I think they surprised some people, but not me, because I saw them the second half of the season, and I really felt like they could make some noise provided they stayed healthy. They did that, and they were right there at the end. All you can do is give yourself a chance. They certainly did that.
And speaking of defense, I know you love that aspect of the game, being a two-time all defensive second team in 87 and 90
Yep.
with the Dallas Mavericks. And in that era, locking down point guards and guards was that's a tall feat, my brother. I remember watching those games as a young pup. And really, I'm somewhat, of a defensive, guy, nowhere near your caliber, but I remember you with the Mavericks and with the Knicks, particularly locking guards down like you do, and I'm talking about all-time great guards.
That's
So
right.
Yeah,
shout out to you, my brother. Kudos.
I appreciate it, Jimmy.
Derek, I have a question in that. Yeah, I have a question for you in that regard, Derek. So one thing that I noticed is as the season was going on and we got into the playoffs, it kind of felt to me like, and I think he said this, Kyrie kind of had that flip switch where it was kind of like, and he said, look, this is Luka's team, and I know what I got to do, and I got to be a dog on defense. And is it that easy for a guy of his caliber? Because you could
Yes.
really see it. He started shutting down. I'm just curious what your perspective is, being such a tenacious defender yourself.
The effort was there and the sacrifice. Very difficult, I think, to shift, and Kyrie was able to do. But, I think the one thing about the NBA, when there's a championship on the line, guys have to play different roles sometimes. And I thought all those guys were willing to sacrifice their offensive game or whatever it was to try and get to where they wanted to get. And that's to win an NBA championship. So kudos to him. Kudos to Luka, who took a lot of flack about his inability to play defense. And the problem is when you're not a good defender or don't have the reputation of being a good defender, you get attacked. Jimmy, you know that. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're going to be exposed if you can't guard. And I thought those guys took on the challenge for the most part during their playoff run. And the problem is Jason Kidd is going to expect it now because he saw it a little bit during the playoffs. So I was impressed with it. I was impressed with them overall as a team. You're talking about two guys combined averaging during the regular season almost 60 points a game. So if you get them defending and doing those kind of things, they're certainly going to be able to march through the playoffs